I want to break down Kamala Harris's interview with the Morning Hustle several weeks ago. Now, we all know about this, and this made lots of news basically because of how she did her explanation. And we all know that she was raked over the coals and severely ridiculed by cable news channels and social media for speaking to an adult audience as if they were preschoolers. We all know this, so we won't rehash that. What I want to break down specifically is the demographics of the Morning Hustle radio show. Now, you heard people say the Morning Hustle, but nobody ever really broke down what exactly is the Morning Hustle. So I did some research and nothing super scientific, and we're going to go ahead and do this. Now, one thing I will say is I think one of the reasons why, which will be very clear, is that a lot of news channels, they're trying to avoid controversy in some respects. They will tiptoe to put their toe in the water and then leave it alone. But here we're going to go ahead and do the full thing. So the Morning Hustle started back in 2020, about two years ago, two and a half years ago. And they're currently in the following markets: St. Louis, Philadelphia, Montgomery, Washington, D.C., Cleveland, Birmingham, Augusta, Detroit. Now, what do all these cities have in common? Really, they're chocolate cities. These are cities with a high African American population. Now, the main guy with the Morning Hustle is a person who calls himself Head Crack. As opposed to Crackhead, they just reversed it and said Head Crack. If that's working for you, we'll go ahead and move on. Now, of course, he has a bunch of sidekicks there to help keep the pace of the show moving so we don't fall asleep, because that's the last thing that we want a morning show do is to make us fall asleep instead of wake up. Now, they describe their demographics as being appealing to a urban pop culture for millennial and Gen Z. With these type of demographics, as well as being African American uh, based, why is Kamala Harris talking to an adult audience using preschool language and terminology? Now, talking like this sort of makes her look dumb, but it also makes her audience look dumb because she's not a dumb person. We know that. You don't have to like her, but you have to admit she's not a dumb person. But talking to your audience in such a way kind of denotes how much you think of them and if they can handle large sums of information and extrapolate it and move it towards a certain way that benefits what you're talking about. So it's really questionable to ask, was it the part that it is Gen Z millennial that she had to talk like a preschooler, like she's talking to a preschooler? Was it the African American part that maybe she felt that your normal person may not understand exactly what's happening? Now, with the African American community, there's also the question of, do we care about what's happening over there? It's really have nothing to do with us. But I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying anything. I'm sure media people noticed this, but like I said again, just shied away from this so they wouldn't create more of a debacle of what this has already caused and shift what they're trying to do. Let me know what you think at the bottom here. I think this is a little disturbing that she would talk to a community that has her back and has helped put her in office in such a way